Hey guys, so I'm going to walk you through my complete build of my new 2025 truck. There's a lot to go on here. We've got the back tonneau cover, we've got the mud flaps that are from WeatherTech, we've got a radio install, we've got the antenna install, we've got the front dash mount where the radio is going to mount, and of course we've got all the wiring to go through. So a lot of video, a lot of things to do. I'll probably break this up into several different segments of kind of covering each section as we go, like the radio, the tonneau cover, the mud flaps, how to install all of those, the WeatherTech mud flaps. I've used them for years, very durable, last great, and work well. So anyway, I hope you will join me as we go through this series of building out the 2025 Ford F-150 and what this looks like. Stay tuned. I appreciate you joining me, and let's get started. So the first part of this build is putting this tonneau cover together. This comes from Undercover. This is a good for the 2025 Ford F-150. I've used these in the past. They've been very solid. They have a very high quality, call it kind of a rubber vinyl top to these, and they are fairly easy to install. I started to install the first side rail here just to kind of see how it would mount, and it takes 3 of these clamps on each side of these, and of course like the nut side goes out so you can ratchet onto it, and these just clamp up between the bed and the side cover where this mounts. So our first thing we'll do is make sure to get these put on right, and this is actually just using this as the keep the piece at the end that your tonneau cover folds down on and locks onto. So we'll make sure we get this towards the end, towards the tailgate, and we'll see if we can get this installed on the other side now, and then we'll get the front piece put on. So as we're putting this on, we want to make sure this is level as well as the front. So we want to make sure this is up high enough in the middle. That's usually just place to start. I'll usually come back to the middle and adjust it a little bit. Put this one up here and grab this one from here. Loosen that nut up a little farther. Loosen that middle one just a little bit. This will allow us to bring this one up. All right, we're just going to confirm that this is level, and then we'll be able to put the front piece on. So just getting these squared away, you know, it's probably easier to start with one end than the other, but I try and get in the middle, so I'm just kind of hold it and loosen it up just enough to keep it loose here, so I can adjust this as needed. But I tightened this one down a little too tight at the beginning, so I couldn't adjust this up here where it needed to be. So, but that's pretty much what it takes to put these on. Just 3 of these clamps, and making sure it's level, and we'll be good to go. Let's get the front started. Before we get started, we got to be able to put the rubber insulation kind of dust piece here across the top and get that set first. It's gonna be a little more difficult with the spray on bed liner, but I've done it before. It does stick, it holds up pretty well. You know, it's a clean surface. Just come back from the shop yesterday, so let's get that on there and see what we can do. So they do give you a kind of a fresh alcohol wipe if that was painted surface. You could apply that, but this is going to do absolutely no good here. And what we need to do is I'm going to start it on that side because it'll be easier for me to access the truck from that side. And we're going to take and lay this down. It's kind of a L shape. You want to put it right next to the front edge of the bed here and right up against the rail, so it kind of all protects and keeps the weather out. As long as along the way, and we'll just put this along the rail the whole way here. So, and we'll see how well it holds. This stuff's usually pretty good about sticking. It's so good it's hard to get the initial tape off. There we go. We'll start to pull that as we go. It's sticking pretty decent here. Take this right up to the end where we need it. Oh yeah, it's sticking really good. So hope I don't have to pull this back off for any reason. And that should, but there's a kind of a weather stripping here. It should go right in the back of that, and should kind of go over the top of that to help keep that out. Get that out of the way, and then we'll have to go underneath and get the 2 different sets of these mounts that go on there. You can adjust and tighten how this goes front and back when you have to roll this thing all the way to the end to the tailgate. So this will get bolted onto the bolt, and then this goes into the tonneau cover plastic piece here on the end, and that will lock in to that, and then you can adjust this as needed. So there was 2 bolt holes right here. I'm sorry, 1 bolt hole right here, and then this goes into this plastic piece and you know, locks in. So that way you can adjust. Well, this should be on the other side. So, but you'd get it, you know, this would go into there, and then this would slide this in and out as it goes. This bolts on, and then this would slide the tonneau cover front and back as you need to adjust it as necessary. So these will get slid into the end and then bolted onto here. All right, let's go get them done. Okay, see how that bolts on there like that. And then I should have another long bolt here for the other side. forward here. Sorry, go this way. Get this thing to line up on here. And then we'll take those other clamps and use a little bolt and bolt that in right there. So that's where these will go underneath. I'm gonna get that, and it'll slide right up on there. So we'll get that squared away here. Where that needs to go as well. There we go. And that's what will secure this then to this metal rail. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention was that I didn't want to put this nut on here too tight initially, because it does have to slide into under the metal frame that sticks out from the bed here. So it locks into that, as you can probably see. And then this will bolt on like I mentioned. And then you don't want to adjust this yet until you pull this all the way to the back and start to wrap it up. So that way you can adjust this tension as you need for the tightness that you want at the other end. So you may have to adjust this there and there. And of course we'll have a little bit of a gap here yet with daylight coming through, but we'll do that when we finish off that seal on the outside. So here's the tonneau cover now installed. You can see what that looks like. It looks good all the way across there. In fact, we'll over here look up in the front. Looks pretty darn straight all the way across. And you know, I think it turned out nice. I did have to come back here and do some final finagling with these last two on each side, just to get the tailgate to come down when this thing is released. When it's released, that I close the tailgate. This thing is properly rubbing on the back of the truck like it should. So you'll see over here, it comes down. Now let me put this down first. So maybe still at a little bit of finagling. It's rubbing up against here just a little bit in the center for some reason. So I may have to raise this up a little bit more, but overall, it looks like it's sitting really flush with the side of the truck here. I mean, I'm trying to get the camera as level as possible with that. And this whole thing shows level. So I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just be that type of firm fit on this cover to help keep dust and rain, weather out, and you know, those sort of things. But that is the all access cover by Access Covers. They are the original roll-up cover, and it comes out of Jamestown, South Dakota. So this is the all access cover. Comes from, I think it's All Access Covers. They're a company out of Jamestown, South Dakota. I want to say this was around $500-600 bucks, something like that for it. But again, I do find them to be very quality. I think they've improved up from the number of years from where I was past with some of the vinyl coverings nowadays. But the method's still the same with the roll bars that you kind of have to roll up with, and that's how they keep the strength in the middle with those bars going across there. But it's a simple 30-minute install and doesn't take a lot of time to do it, and you can do it by yourself, as you can see. So it's nice to have a second person once in a while, maybe to help tighten it at the same time when you're trying to tighten it up. And I literally had to crawl under here and with this covered, and then trying to figure out how much tighter this needed to be as I was trying to, you know, go from underneath. And that was a little challenging for me to do that. So I had to come back out here, loosen this, and you know, tighten it back down and go, okay, yeah, maybe, and it could still use maybe another turn or two, and we may have to do that, but I'll roll it back up, make those adjustments, and then roll it again to see how that goes. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Thanks for joining me in the first part of this series and putting together the 2025 Ford F-150. 73.